Hey, what's up, lightboltjoe here. Today we are going to discuss the 2023 horror franchise film Scream 6. So this is a direct sequel to 2022's Scream film. So we have Mason Gooding back as Chad, his sister Quinn is back, Jenna Ortega is back as Tara, and then Sam, her older sister, who's the daughter of Billy Loomis. So our core four, as in a hilarious scene in the middle of Chad trying to get everybody together. And Mason's dopiness, if you will. He's very serious. He's extremely talented. He's very like in tune to the surroundings. Um, him having that little dopey kind of Chad personality as that alpha male, but like in a sensitive manner, is really cool. It's very rare. It's very cool. So that was a neat little core four scene. So this is a year later, right? So this the core four moved to New York from New York City from Woodsboro, California, to start their summer semester of college. The three main kids, and then Sam, came along to help with rents to watch Tara, and so it's a matter of how do you deal with the past? Do you continue to deal with the past to move to the future? Stuff like that, right? So there's therapy stuff going on. Very modern film. We start out Ghostface killing of Samara Weaving, and the director of this worked on Ready or Not, and she was the main actor of that, so that was neat having her throw in Scream Queen amongst ourselves as well, and that was a beautiful scene. Tony Revolori, there we go, is unmasked in 6 minutes as the Ghostface killer of Samara Weaving's character, right? She's a film professor, he's a student, she gave him a C, he's going to kill her. But in a dramatic, because they're studying film kind of aspect. So him and his roommate Greg are obsessed and idolizing the stab films, a la Richie did in the fifth film. So that's why the whole concept of Richie wanted to make his own stab film to bring it back to the original, because nobody appreciates the film anymore. They're just mockeries now and remakes and stuff. So Tony's character of Sam, Jason, one of those words, and Greg are film students who are familiar with Richie's work, who wanted to finish his film. That's why they were taking up the Ghostface moniker. But Ghostface is revealed to be a completely different person in this aspect, because then he is killed. Greg is dismembered in the fridge, and then it's a matter of who killed these kids. Why is Ghostface in Manhattan? Obviously, Ghostface is in Manhattan because of Tara and Sam. So why? Why is this continuing on? So as the story progresses, we have amazing kill shots throughout. Gail Weathers is back. She is a reporter in New York City, and she lives on 96th Street. So she's trying to, figure things out as well. Kirby is back. Hayden Panettiere is back as Kirby. We haven't seen her since 2011's Scream 4. So that was not amazing reliving that stuff. It was a legacy film, and Quinn going on another monologue of why this is a franchise film, why this is a sequel to the requel, in the sense of franchise legacy, stuff like that. So there's different rules. So she's going over the monologue of that again, which was really fun. So it's now a matter of who is killing whom when and why, and what's the end game, right? What's the end game? Neve Campbell wasn't in this because the studio refused to pay her an adequate salary, because she's been the main lead, for quite some time. She was the original Scream Queen. So by the studio not paying her what she's worth, and the industry is in shambles currently because of the writer's strike, and because people are finally standing up for themselves. Pay me a livable wage, pay me what is due. If I've put in the work, I deserve the credit. I deserve the monetary value of doing the work, not pennies. So they had to figure out a way to do a story without her. They did a one-liner. Courtney Cox's character of Gail Weathers says, Sydney's safe. Her and Mark and the kids, they're safe. They send their love. Sydney sends her love, but she's not coming to New York. So it was written off fine. And to be honest, the story that was presented to us didn't need Neve in it. We didn't need the Sydney character, because it's not Sydney's story anymore. It's now Tara and Sam's story. And it's interesting how it all comes back to it. So you have the twins, right? Mindy and Chad being the niece and nephew of Randy, who was a friend of Sydney's. And then you have Sydney, who dated Billy, who is Sam's father. And then Tara's the sister of Sam, on the mother's side, obviously. So it's neat having that legacy lineage come into play, that we still have legacy characters. So we have the daughter of Billy, the niece and nephew of Randy, going back to the original film, and then going now into the sixth film, and then Tara, who's not really, who's the half sister of Billy's daughter. There you go. So coming together, Kirby now works for the FBI. Who is this police officer who's now trying to help them? What's up with the roommate? What's up with the two roommates? The roommate of the girls, the roommate of Chad, all coming together. So finding and exploring and getting all this information, they come across this decrepit theater, which is housing all of the props from all of the films, the shirts, the knives, the burnt telephone from the third film, all of these things, right? So it's a matter of, why are these original 9 killers, right, now moving into 10, 11, 12 killers? We now have 12 named Ghostface killers, which is pretty awesome. Kirby has her kill board in the police officer's office, naming everybody. Why are the masks from these different individuals being found at the crime scene? Obviously, they're counting backwards, but why? What's the end game? What's the goal? Getting to Billy eventually, but why? What's the point? So, very cool. And then it's a matter of, well, this is now a shrine that these particular individuals created, thinking it's the film students, but it's not the film students. It was all a decoy. Why are they being idolized? But then how did all this stuff come about? If it's evidence, well, evidence can get lost easily. Cops want money, so you can pay somebody for this. So it's very interesting. Very, very interesting. The big reveal at the end is not a quick reveal. It's like the last 25 minutes of the film is the conclusion of it. And it was so cool because it wasn't quickly twisted and then that's it, end credits. It was the family of Richie seeking revenge on Tara, on Sam, for instance, knowing that Sam killed him, but she killed him to stop him and in revenge of hurting her sister. So she killed him, but no, they wanted to plot it out that she caused the entire killing spree of the Woodsboro murders in 2022, that Richie had nothing to do with it, that he's just a victim boyfriend to the crazy daughter of the serial killer Billy Loomis. So it was the father as the police chief, the daughter, youngest daughter, is the roommate of the girls, the middle child, the son, is the roommate of Chad, all fabricated to that way they get close to the core 4, as Chad beautifully explains. And then it's just a matter of why. So they wanted to, if the film students wanted to finish Richie's film, the dad kind of wants to finish Richie's film as well because he loved the film so much, but it's a revenge story. It's a la to Scream 2. Scream 2 took place in college, right? And then Billy's mom, Mrs. Loomis, is one of the murderers. It was Mrs. Loomis and Mickey, who she found online. Those were the 2 killers of the second film, which we talked about, and we all know and love. So it's the same kind of revelation aspect, college killings, revenge of the death of the son, but amplified by a billion. The kill scenes were just insane. The bodega scene was creepy enough. It was very good on amping up the horror of it, and it was very great in the New York setting, in the New York City setting. So it was very well done. I watched it twice before I talked about it. I want to pick up on other clues, but for a franchise that's been going on for 30 years, roughly 30 years, it's really cool that the next one always one-ups the one before it. This reminded me a lot of Saw, too. There was a lot of Jigsaw masks. This takes place 3 days in between Halloween, like right before Halloween and on Halloween. So there was a lot of masks from different horror villains. You had Michael, you had Jason, you had Pinhead, you had Ghostface masks everywhere. That was the other thing about that. The subway scenes were intense. There was a lot of intense city stuff. So it's neat seeing that, giving that authentic city kind of creep to it. What happens if this happens in a subway? What happens if this happens in a bodega? What happens if this happens in an apartment complex? Things, right? Very interesting. But then the dilapidated theater, the whole shrine element to it. And I really want that shrine element with the 12 different killers, masks and costumes and stuff, as we so eloquently had, or with the 9, and then plus the dad and the 2 kids, afterwards. I want that on tour. Like how the Titanic exhibit has been touring the world for like decades. going to different cities and stuff. I want that as the prop aspect of this, because there was all 6 films were intricated into this. You had Kirby's the knife that stabbed Kirby originally, and then her having the, you know, not reconciliation, her having the getting stabbed again with the same knife in the same spot. Very interesting. I would all circle back. All these different prop elements, costuming, stuff like that. Randy's shirt when he was killed, that the twins were looking at. All of these different prop things. As a film geek, I'm freaking out because this is dating back to decades worth of film. Where were they stored all these years? And now that they came out, let's put them on tour. You'd make so much money having a Scream tour, seeing all the Ghostface props and merchandise and costuming and stuff. It'd be such an experience. It would be wonderful. I really think they should do it. A nice art gallery kind of experience, interactive kind of art gallery experience. And they've been doing those pop-up things for a while now, so I think they could do it. And that was my immediate question of, when is this happening? Right at the end. It was all summarized. Everything was summarized. We didn't have any loose ends. It was very nice. Skeet Ulrich as the Billy shadowing to Sam, because she's having the visions of her father again still. So that was neat, having him thrown in as well. It was just so well done. I'm very impressed. I really am excited for a 7th film whenever that comes out, whenever they slate it. It doesn't have to be next year. It could be years after. Who could the next killer be? What if Dewey and Gale had a child, and this child is now seeking revenge for the death of the father and the continued attempted murder of the mother? That would be fun. A nice little twist on that. Gale Weathers' child is the murderer. Who knows? Maybe in the 8th film. This is a franchise that can continue on, and I can't wait. I can't wait to see what happens next. I can't wait to see what the next prop installment is, the next costuming installment of it is. I can't wait to see what the next technological installment of it is, because we're utilizing cell phones and social media now too. Very remnant of the time. Very cool, very awesome, very creepy, very good, scary horror. On to the next review. Mucho mahalo.